Welcome to OFR. In this tutorial, I'll be helping you out with assembling IKEA's Brimnes glass cabinet. For this build, you need a Phillips screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, a hammer, an Allen key that IKEA provides you, and an extra person for some of the steps. You can use an impact drill to make things go faster, and can use a posi drive bit or a screwdriver. Before you start, I would also separate all the bits and pieces into containers so you don't lose them in the process of assembling. The first step is to grab this panel. This panel will be shorter than the other two that look somewhat similar. Make sure these two holes that are close to each other are facing the right side. Then grab 4 wooden dowels and the short panel that looks like this. You'll be hammering the wooden dowels into these 4 holes. Now make sure the finished side is facing this direction and insert the panel like this. Next, flip the structure as shown. Make sure the unfinished side is facing up. Now go to the other side of the panel and grab these 2 metal pieces. They'll be inserted into these 2 holes. Make sure you don't put the metal pieces in too far. There's a little indentation to show you how far you should put it in. Then go back to the other side and grab yourself 2 plastic fasteners. Secure them into these 2 holes. Now grab the second identical panel and hammer in 4 wooden dowels. The dowels will be hammered in exactly into the same 4 holes as you did with the previous short panel. Then make sure the finished side is facing down and place it in. Now grab 2 plastic fasteners and secure them into these 2 holes. Next, take 2 dowels and hammer them into these 2 outside holes. Then find yourself 2 screws and a panel that looks like this. Attach the panel like this and use the 2 screws to secure everything together. The 2 screws will be going into these 2 holes. Now take 4 wooden dowels and hammer them into these 4 holes. Then put your assembled structure aside and grab these 2 long panels. Place them in this orientation. These holes will be facing inwards and the unfinished sides will be facing outwards. Then take 12 of these screws and screw them into these 12 holes. Next, grab 16 small screws that look like this and 8 pieces of the hinge system. On the left panel, you'll be securing each piece of the hinge system into these 8 holes. You'll need 8 screws and 4 pieces of the hinge system per panel. On the left panel, make sure the screw is facing outwards. Secure it in like this, and do the same thing for the other 3 hinge systems for the left panel. Now do the same thing for the right panel with the other 8 screws and 4 pieces of the hinge system. Just make sure the screw that's sticking out on the hinge system is facing outwards. It's going to look something like this. Repeat the same steps for the other 3 pieces of the hinge system. Now bring in the structure you put aside and attach this right panel like this. Just make sure the unfinished sides are facing up. Next, grab 2 fasteners and secure them into these 2 holes. Then grab another 2 fasteners and secure them into these 2 holes. Now take 4 dowels and 2 pieces of wood that look like this. Make sure you put these pieces of wood in this orientation. Then hammer in the 4 dowels into these 4 holes. Now attach the 2 pieces of wood like this. You may need another person to hold the ends up. Then attach the left panel like this. Again, make sure the unfinished side is facing up. Now take 8 fasteners and screw them into these 8 holes. The next step is to grab 6 of these plastic scratch guards and hammer them into these 6 spots. Then go to the top of the cabinet, grab yourself 6 wooden dowels and this panel. You'll be hammering the 6 wooden dowels into these 6 holes. Make sure the unfinished side is facing up and attach the panel like this. Then grab 6 screws and using the Allen key, screw them into these 6 holes. These holes are located on the very top of the glass door cabinet. Now grab the backing and place it on top of the unfinished side. You'll now need to grab the nails that IKEA gives you and the plastic nail measuring tool. Go to the top right corner and hammer in 1 nail on the right side. Make sure the backing is pushed up against the right side of the cabinet. You can use this measuring tool to help you hammer in the nails. This can be used so you don't make the nail come out on the other side. If you're comfortable, you don't have to use the measuring tool and then hammer in 1 nail on the top of the cabinet like this. Again, make sure the backing is pushed up against the top of the cabinet. Then push the backing right against the top of the cabinet and hammer in 1 nail on the top side of the cabinet. Next, go to the bottom right corner and repeat the same steps as before. Just hammer in 1 nail like this. Then hammer in all the nails except for 8, all around the backing. With the 8 remaining nails, hammer them into the middle of the cabinet. Make sure they are equidistant and hammer them in between the gap like this. Now place the cabinet against the wall. You may need another person to help you out with this step. Then grab the wall hardware and attach this glass door cabinet to the wall. This is just for demonstration purposes. You'll first attach the hardware to the wall. Use the washer and your own wall screw to secure the hardware. Then screw in the screw that IKEA gives you with the washer to the cabinet. You'll be repeating the same steps for the other piece of wall hardware. Next, grab 40 of these metal pins and plastic holders. Now grab 4 metal pins and place them in like this. Then place 4 plastic holders on top of the 4 metal pins. You can customize the pin placement for your glass shelves to your liking, but if you want to follow what IKEA recommends, it's going to look like this. After putting in all the metal pins and plastic holders, you can then place all your glass shelves in the cabinet. Then grab the 2 glass doors and place them in this orientation. Make sure these big holes are facing outward. Now grab 16 screws and 8 hinges. For the right door, you'll be using 2 screws to attach each hinge. It will look something like this. Finish off the rest for the right door and the left door. Now grab the left door and attach it to the hinge system. You may need another person for this step. Each hinge basically slides in, and when it's fully attached, screw it in like this for all 4 hinges. Then grab the right door and repeat this step by attaching all 4 hinges. Next, grab 2 wooden handles and 4 of these screws. Attach the left handle like this. The handle will be placed outside, and you will screw it in from the inside of the door. Repeat the same step for the right handle. Now grab 8 rubber bumpers and stick it to the inside of each door. 4 rubber bumpers will be placed on each door. You should now check if the doors are properly aligned and open easily. If the glass doors are leaning a bit up or down, you'll have to adjust these 2 screws for whatever hinge system that needs to be adjusted. Everybody's situation will be different, so you'll just have to play around with it. If your door is too forward or too deep, you'll have to play around with this screw for whatever hinge system that needs to be adjusted. And if your doors lean a bit to one side or the other, you'll have to play around with this screw for whatever hinge system that needs to be adjusted. You should now have a fully assembled Brimnes glass door cabinet from IKEA. Hopefully this tutorial helped you out.